Welcome to Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. Sorry, I mean Monster Hunter Wilds. The game dropped last week and I have been single-handedly cutting down the ecosystem one Discord mod at a time. Monster Hunter Wilds follows on from Monster Hunter Worlds that released, Jesus, 6 years ago. That explains the grey hairs I keep finding. In Monster Hunter Worlds, the developer decided to take the hard as balls gameplay the franchise is known for and making it more accessible to a new audience by having a far longer quote-unquote easy phase and the difficulty curve being more, well, curvy than the previous titles in the franchise that were more of an 80-foot brick wall. The game back then got a fair bit of hate from the core fans for being far too easy and being more focused on story rather than just hunting monsters for their foreskin and slapping it on a chess piece.
Perfection.
And I really do mean the game is on easy mode for a good few hours at the start. I mean, if Asmongold can get through the entire story with little to no issue, surely that's a sign, right? I mean, this is late in the story and the guy still doesn't know he needs to eat food to replenish his stamina bar.
I wonder why my stamina is low. Who knows? Stupid ass game.
Despite his chat screaming at him. I didn't really have much of an issue. My only cart in the main story was due to me being an absolute idiot in this fight here. A cart, if you didn't know, is when you lose all your health and you get sent back to the base camp. You can do this 3 times in a hunt before they mark it as being failed. But in this fight, I didn't really know what was going on. I was kind of mesmerized by, this. I didn't quite realize yet that I needed to pull down these rocks to create some sort of barrier so I could survive the attack. I mean, the move looked really cool, but now I'm basically a meal for the yellow jackets. I don't know what it is, but I think my survival instincts are just not there for these big flourish attacks. For instance, with this monster here. Dude, what are you doing? Are you running away? Nah, what a little bitch. Wow, cool. Nice flick, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. But Worlds being the most successful in the franchise, honestly was quite a big W for Capcom. And the franchise that had quite a niche fan base has now become more mainstream, which is good. So Worlds sets out to try and do this again, and holy, they definitely achieved that. Look at these Steam numbers. Let's just say we have far more baby hunters to play with this time around. That felt really weird to say. Now, I didn't get into the franchise until Monster Hunter Worlds as well. So I guess you could say I'm a filthy casual, but I played the hell out of that game right through to the Iceborne DLC, and I loved every second of it. I also put an insane amount of time into Rise and Sunbreak, and even though Rise was kind of a half-finished game on the Switch when that dropped, I really enjoyed my time with those titles. The idea of going on hunts that are essentially back-to-back boss fights is amazing to me. As a Souls player, all I've ever wanted to do is just fight bosses non-stop and not have a health bar. It's such a simple idea, but I absolutely love it. And your sole intention is to peacefully relocate these animals to their afterlife and then using their shattered remains to make funny hats. In Wilds, your hunter ventures from the west to help this kid find his family, while at the same time self-inserting himself into the culture of the new land where the inhabitants don't seem to know what a pointy stick is.
Hey, look. What's that stranger carrying?
It looks dangerous.
I do find it odd that these guys have so many issues and so many monsters in their day-to-day life, and they never thought it might just be easier to kill them. Though saying that, we have to jump through a few hoops ourselves to start hunting because you have to wait for the shaders to load on your first boot up, and no joke, these take 30 minutes. I'm using an M2 drive and it still took half an hour just to start playing the game. But the core gameplay is simplistic to say the least. Step by step, the guild will pick an animal to hunt seemingly at random and we prep for the fight. After bitch slapping said monster, and it realizes there's definitely a power level difference and quickly roaches out, we give chase and rinse and repeat until the monster is dead. We make sure we take a few bits of its flesh as a memento, and we will use this to make better armor to fight bigger monsters. Super simple, and yet I cannot stop doing it. This time around, Capcom have gone for what they call their most immersive story yet, and that roughly translates to non-stop slow walking segments that can actually sometimes take longer than the hunts themselves. I'm not gonna lie, I am not a fan of this change. I don't mind the odd cutscene, but in this game it's just a bit too much. The cutscenes are back to back with the slow walking segments as well for the hunts. You kind of just feel like you get double whammied with just no playtime. For an example, this is a bit later on in the story, but I'm going to talk step by step trying to go onto this one hunt here. So we accept the quest and we get a 5-minute cutscene talking about said quest that we're going to go on. All right, that's fine. This ends and it cuts to another cutscene, less cinematic, again continuing to talk about the quest we want to go on. Alright, that's fine. After that, we get another cinematic cutscene of the gang arriving on the quest, which then leads to a boring slow walking section where you can't really do anything apart from loot grass. After this section, we then get an NPC dialogue cutscene where the gang discuss what they're gonna do next, which is, the hunt. After that, we literally, and I mean literally, get 2 seconds of free movement just to fall into another cinematic cutscene till we finally get the monster appear for the hunt. That's 20 minutes after accepting the hunt and then being on the hunt. It honestly puts to shame games like The Last of Us with the amount of put down the controller time Wilds dishes out. It's a nitpick, and it's a small cross to bear for the gameplay. And the gameplay is touting, did I use that word right? 14 different weapons for you to take on these monsters with their own combos and hidden techs. There is a playstyle for you, there's a playstyle for me, him, and the hot mummy Smither that honestly took this game from a 9 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10 in my books. Like, she's right up there in A tier, and I'm not going to tell you what this tier list is for. Her name is Gemma, and she is the best character in the game. Gemma, my love, I've massacred more innocent animals so you can put fluffy scarves on my swords. Maybe now we can be together.
Thanks, Hunter. You're a good friend.
I was so depressed, I made this very gross sticker that definitely breaches some sort of TOS and started spamming it in the lobby. And then I saw others actually started copying it. I love this community. We are all simps. What was I talking about again? Alright, my personal favorite weapon was the dual blades. I've always wanted to roleplay a super annoying gnat buzzing around your face that could literally die with one hand slap. The damage is incredibly low, but it's all about speed and inflicting status effects and elemental damage. And the new mechanic, which is wounding the monster. 19 years of titles, and we have only now learned to actually wound the monsters. We are so bad at our jobs. Once the monsters are wounded, the dopamine really starts to rush with the dual blades. You literally become Levi from Attack on Titan. But if speed and dodging is not your cup of tea, phew, was worried I wasn't going to reach my quota for today. There are so many other weapons to choose from. You can play 3 different weapons with bow in the name, or you could be a true bald eagle blooded American and respect your Second Amendment right.
Now that's a lot of damage!
There is way too much to cover with these weapons, but some of the standouts for me is the insect glaive that has you just floating around the monsters as you fight them like you're in an anime intro. And the longsword that, I'm gonna be honest, feels so goddamn amazing to pull off combos with. It's a little slow, but it's anime as fuck. But yeah, hunting is fun and all, and there's literally thousands of outfits you can craft with their remains, but why are we here and why are we doing that? Well, that kid I mentioned before wants to go home, but unfortunately his home was attacked by what they call the White Wraith. Funny, that's what I thought the inhabitants of this land were calling me. After exploring honestly stunning set pieces and locations, we have a massive desert and plains that drastically change with the weather. We have fiery caverns, luscious forests, Mount Silver, and a literal cum dungeon to explore. But eventually, we find his village and things get a little bit weird. So whereas Worlds was about the Hunter Guild exploring a new land and basically just killing everything in that region, Wilds touts a different story. I'm pretty sure I used the word right that time. This game is about artificial life. Yes, artificial life. Did I fucking stutter? The game based in a new land with civilizations and inhabitants that have never seen as much as a bread knife have artificial life. So anyway, the kid Nata originally belongs to a group that called themselves the Keepers, who thought slavery had not enough steps and decided to create life to do tasks they didn't want to do. One of these artificial lives, called the Guardians, was the White Wraith, who escaped and became free. No joke, I literally only just realized while writing this, that's why he has chains, because he broke free from captivity. Jesus, how did that go over my head? That's actually pretty good writing, unlike this video. The White Wraith is essentially Mewtwo, gotcha. The White Wraith just wants to be a real boy, and after seeing other monsters in the wild hunting for survival, it decided it would do that too and started killing and eating monsters. And it gets rather gluttonous about it. Honestly, relatable. I use 90% of my free will to walk down to my local KFC just to receive my order fucking wrong. But hey, it is what it is. This upsets the natural ecosystem, and that's where we come in. A hunter's got to do what a hunter's got to do, and we take it out. It's actually pretty sad. Nata grew to love this creature and wanted to learn why it's acting the way it does, and we just kill it. I think the most important arc throughout the entire game is you, the hunter. You are constantly being told by the guild what you can and cannot hunt, and needing permission all the time.
To ensure the safety of our research operation, the guild authorizes the capture of this Guyinthetie. You're up!
I'm up!
Continued preservation of this ecosystem. The guild authorizes you to slay the guardian archbelt.
To prevent further escalation, the guild authorizes you to hunt both monsters. Understood.
But towards the end of the story, he learns he don't need no woman telling him what to do, and he gives himself permission.
By my own order. I will slay Zoshia.
W move, stay strong, King. Now, I've very, very badly simplified that story, but that's kind of really all you need to know. There is a boss after this fight with a creature that was hindering the energy for the land, making it harder for it to prosper. But it's really a meh fight. It comes out of nowhere and I just didn't like it. It was kind of boring. I kind of wish the White Wraith was causing this issue for the land, because that was actually a fully wrapped story I really enjoyed, and the boss fight with the White Wraith is insanely good. But yeah, with those creatures defeated, credits roll, and that's that. But even though that was 15 hours of hunting and munching, boys, that was just the tutorial. Now the real hunt begins, where the difficulty curve finally starts to get some legs. I won't go into it too much for the higher level hunting gameplay, because I mean, I'm still playing it, but it's here where you want to pie up with friends and random players in lobbies to take on much harder monsters. And to be honest, Capcom are pretty good at pumping out new content over the lifespan of their Monster Hunter game, so I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of stuff dropping. Hopefully we'll get a Tough as Nails expansion later down the road, you know, after they've made their money back on the 15 million pieces of cosmetic DLC. Jesus Christ. To be fair, cosmetics, I'm not too bothered about. Sure, charge what you want for those things, but charging £8 just to change my hunter's look or name, that's ridiculous. That is such a cringy move. I made my name as a self-promoting idiot just for a bit, and now I'm stuck with it. I guess I'll forever be promoting my YouTube in the Forbidden Lands. There are some optimization issues, like, to be honest, any launch on PC. And even though sometimes it can be kind of funny with the monsters, there is definitely some creases that need to be ironed out. Another issue is the difficulty early on. It is kind of playing on baby mode, but that's really just an issue for the core fan base, the true veterans of the Monster Hunter franchise. And honestly, I don't have an issue with it. I am a-okay with waiting a few hours for the difficulty to spike up if it means more players get into the franchise. We don't want to scare them off. If they go away, we will stop getting games. And it's our job as more hardcore hunters to help these guys out. Even after the credits hit, I joined a guy who really did not know how to capture a monster. He was really struggling. I had to slowly show him step by step in the fight with no voice chat how to do it. And honestly, it felt pretty good. And I needed this sort of advice from veteran players back when I first played World. So yeah, it might suck as a hardcore gamer, but it is always nice to help the little guy out. It's a great title, and it is definitely worth jumping in. Monster Hunter games tend to keep their value for quite a while after launch, so if you're on the fence at the moment, I say bite the bullet, buy it today and get in. Because at the launch of a Monster Hunter title, the community is at its peak, and it makes the game far more enjoyable to play, while everyone is learning and playing together for the first time. And hopefully I can score a couple of subscribers out of it. That's all I really need to say on the subject, if I'm honest. Even while I'm writing this script right now, all I want to do is dive back into the Forbidden Lands and carve up some sweet, sweet monster pelts. So I'm gonna do just that. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, you are an absolute legend. And just so I know who you are in the comment section, my call to action is gonna be put Gemma's milk in your comment. I'll know who you are, and it will freak out anyone who has the audacity to not watch till the end of the video. I'd also love to give a massive shout out to my patrons for supporting me with the $dollar bill, y'all. You guys are the monster skin that keeps this channel's armor strong. Thank you Pit Stab, Ali Tato, and Chris Spicer. If you liked the video and even liked the channel and want to support a little bit further, please click the link on the screen to head over to my Patreon. I do updates from time to time, but it helps me sustain and not go hungry. But that's it for me. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there and stay fashionable, gents. Hi out. Peace.